And then when I've had paranormal activity all the way through. When I was pregnant with Savannah is when the UFOs started. That's when the reality come. She was about 3 weeks old, and I'd just done a morning feed. She was still getting up early. I give her a feed, and then I went outside on the balcony. I looked over the whole city of London, and I'm staring up at the sky at this bright light, and that seemed to be moving nearer and nearer. And first of all, I thought it was a star, and then I realised it's moving, it's coming towards me, and then I thought, it's got to be a plane. So as I watched it, it got bigger and bigger, and it was just one huge white disc. And as it's come over the property, I've leant up to see if there's a tail and wings. It's got to be a plane. There was no tail or wings, and that's when I realised, so this is a UFO. I've just seen a UFO. So I told Ronnie. I went back in the bedroom and I just sat there. Honestly, my heart was in my chest. I thought, oh my God. Everything started clicking into place. And then it must have been the same week or the following week. I'd got up and done a feed again for Sav. And I sat on the bed and I'm holding her on me. And she started pressing up away from me, turned her head, looked to the corner of the room, and just screamed her head off, grabbed me. And that frightened the life out of me. I'm like, my God, she can see something. And I'm going to Ronnie, can you see what she's doing? And she just kept doing it. She kept pushing up quietly, turn her head, look at the corner, scream her head off. And honestly, I was in bits. Stuff like that went on and on. My brother even went home after staying at mine one night because something was walking up and down my property. In the end, I did leave there and I came to Lowestoft, and I'd split up with Ronnie for a while. And I made friends with one of the kids' mates' mums, Michelle. And then I told her about all the stuff I was experiencing. And I said to her, I'm seeing things in the sky. Come out and have a look. And she was intrigued. She was like, oh, okay. Well, I'd moved into property in September, and we had a hell of a sighting come. We first seen like moving starlights in February, but in April, it was April the 17th, I bought a new camera with an attached flash to it. And I said, I'm going to flash them, see what happens. Yeah, it was a bad idea. I flashed at one that went over, and it slowed down over the top of my house. I said to her, that stopped. She said, yeah, I know. And then bang, one click, bang, ship right above my house. And it was like the Carlos Diaz plasma ship. His one was orange yellow. Our one was bright blue and white. It pulsed, boom, 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 like it was breathing, but it was like glass. And it had fine vein lines through the ship. And it's like the crystal glass could create light from itself. It's the only way I could explain it. We stood there for a while watching it. I had a camera on me. I couldn't even take my eyes off this ship to take a picture. It would have been a picture of a lifetime, but I didn't even do it. It didn't cross my mind. Then it bang, back to a starlight, and then went off towards the North Sea. So I grabbed Michelle and went, oh my God, did you see that? Did you see it? She's freaking out, yeah. Then she went, what's that? So I turned. There's another one, same height, only above the roof of the houses, going away from us. So I've gone, oh, right. When we were looking at that one, where was that one? And what was that doing? And it looked like that. And it was just drifting away over the roofs. It was that low. There was 3 lights, and the halo made it look like one ship. On the next day, we had health problems, both of us. And I couldn't sleep for a week. I was drained. I felt ill. I was terrified. I thought something was going to be coming for me because I thought they know that I know they're real. They've revealed themselves. Me and Shell didn't even go out once it got dark. It took a month before we could go out. After that month, we braved it, but early, 8 o'clock in the evening. This is May 17th. And we thought it was a Cessna aeroplane coming towards us, red, green light. Things coming towards us. I've gone, oh, there's a plane. It weren't a plane. It comes nearly overhead and it lights up as an amber cross right above two of our heads. We're just like blown away. This was huge. It took up that much sky above our heads. It was massive, like 9 lights long. And then it dimmed down like a dimmer switch going off. And then as it went off, colours were going all around it. And I knew everything. I ran indoors going, oh my God. I was looking at Eric von Daniken's books and I pulled out UFO magazine and I was connecting dots with this was that, was this was that. And I went, Jesus is a hybrid and Mary was abducted. And, you know, I was going, the Star of Bethlehem was a UFO and people were following a UFO across the desert to where this special hybrid being was being born. I didn't have internet back in the day, and I said all this before I'd heard anybody else say it. So I was given some kind of knowing on this stuff. So that was kind of, it blew me away quite a bit. We were getting ships all the time over the house after that. That was pretty like, it was like living in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you name it, we were getting it. I was getting children off the estate knocking on my house, telling me there was lights over my house, there's lights over my garden. This is like crazy. And I'd be cooking and I'd stop what I'm doing, run outside because I knew one would be there. It's like they were telling me to come out. And then it got to a point they were lighting up and I'm just waving at them. This is how mad everything got. At the end of that year, I got myself, it was February 2002, I got myself sterilised because I weren't playing their game. I kept having miscarriages and stuff. So I said to Ronnie when I got home, I've upset him. And he said to me, what are you talking about? And I went, because I ain't playing their game. I'm not doing this. I said, something's going to happen because I've upset him. It happened that night. Sav used to be scared to sleep in her own bed, so she used to always be between us. So I said, because I've got injury in my stomach now, so I go to bed early. It's 10:30. Sav's there, Ronnie's there, I'm here. Sav's rabbiting away, and then she stopped, dropped, hit the pillar. He did the same as well. And I sat there and looked at him like, what? That's when the ship beamed its light straight through my window, and it was star bright white that came through the window, and I could see the arch of the ship slow coming through. And once the arc of the light disappeared, the room went black. So I got out of the bed quick and ran through to the other room because I wanted to see the UFO come out the other side of the house. That's when Reese jumped out of bed. Mum, what are you doing? And I told him. He joined me at the window. No UFO to be seen. And the sky was thick blanket of clouds. So that was odd. And I had times of being quite paralysed. The doctors would be called out to find out why I can't move. I'd be in tears. I was just from neck down, couldn't move. And they put me on all kinds of different drugs and everything, saying, we don't know why you're having these moments of paralysis, but we're going to send you for a CT scan if it keeps going on. So I used to have friends trying to help me out, would make a brace out of a bath towel around my neck to try and get me downstairs, put a fake bed up, and, you know, I'd have to camp out downstairs. just so everyone could like look after me easier. Um, that's Reese. Right, oh no. That's right. The boys were really getting a lot of activity with their friends, and Reese was getting chased by reptilians through the woods that were at the back of my back of my garden. There's a car park, and before they built the road through the woods is still there with a road through the middle now, but it was flat. It was just woods, and Reese would cut through there to see his friend, and the reptilian would step out into the light so Reese could see him physically in front of him. And when Reese got to the other side of the woods where the paths were and the street lamps, the street lamp would go out, bang, as Reese is coming up near them. Blank, 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 blank in pitch blackness. It kept happening, and it was happening in front of Reese's friends. Reese tried riding his push bike through there. They would come out the trees and chase him. And another time, he'd left Daniel's, and one was at the top of the trees screaming at him. And Reese said, I can't do this. I can't go through the woods. So he took a 40-minute walk all the way around roadside to try and avoid this. And as he was walking away from the woods, this thing was bending the trees, heading towards him, screaming on each tree. So in the end, I had to deal with my son smashing his bike up on the lawn, screaming in tears. They were coming to his bedroom at night and wake him up. And he said, Mum, it would be red-skinned, lizard-looking reptilian, and it had horns like a crown facing away. So the horns on this side were going that way, horns on this side going that way. So I said, oh my God, how long have you been putting up with this? When did it originally start? He said, Mum, in London. I was like, no way, you never told me that. He went, Mum, they were going in your bedroom. I didn't know that. I've never seen a reptilian. But my son was clearly seeing it. And then I had to go on David Icke's video, Credo Matwa, to understand whether anybody else was seeing his creatures. And then I found out they were. It's just, the list goes on. I mean, we've had Ian come down in Hall-in, and I've showed him where the creature was in the trees in front of my son and his friend, and it shifted the trees with its rage, and it jumped one leap, bam, over into the wood, and that was a good 30 feet stretch. I took Ian to the woods where my son seen predator there, and my husband, who's skeptical, kind of laughed. I said, oh, what were they smoking? Because I got with Colin in 2010 or 11, and then he was walking the dogs through the woods, and he come back saying, I just see predator. And I was like, welcome to the gang. Now what my kid's smoking? He said, no, I see it. It was right in front of me. It turned and it walked forward, and the sunlight had lit it up. It was transparent, and it was huge. And he said it was like Predator from the movie. It was like that. So I took Ian Hall-in into those woods with Savannah, and I took my friend Nairi. She's seen stuff with us as well, and the UFOs and everything. We took lots of pictures when we were in the woods, and a UFO appeared when I got back to my old original house where a lot of activity had happened. And a UFO appeared. It went over near where we'd just come out of the woods. So Ian took off running towards it, and then it shot down literally into the woods where we'd been. So, and my Sav, she's very good. She took pictures. So I have got some photographs to show you of that. When I was at my brother's, we had a major UFO event there. I thought a plane was going to crash out of the sky. They were coming in to land at London City Airport. And 4 hours after the UFOs had been there, and I've got photos, I'll show you them. I stood on the lawn 4 or 5 hours later. I said to Martin, get the camera, take some pictures of me. And I said, right, if anything's still here, get in the picture, please, and have your photo taken. And something did. And I will show you them.